Hey guys, here we are. This is Uriel, and I have an in-house replay of Zeros that was requested on the forums, so I figured I'd get one of the in-houses we have and put it together. So basically we have here, we have me in the top team with Excalibur as Ignis and Executioner as Lure Sellant. In the bottom team we have Dakitsuku as Duran, Stims in the middle as Gaia, and Makanas as Blade Hunter. So here we go. Let's take a look here. So I'll be focusing on me for this one, pretty much just so we can get an outline of Zeros here. As you can see, I'm kind of going around the box to farm it so that I can shift queue and get as close as possible to Marines when they come out. Now this time I'm actually not going to go right away after my first box. I'm waiting, as you can see, so that I don't take any harass, and it looks like they still kind of harassing me, the Marines. But that's the general idea. Just because Zeros has such low life, sometimes, especially against ranged heroes that you know they're going to harass you, you want to kind of farm that second box a little bit and get back to it later. So I'm going for 4 Marines net right now just to get that respawn. And I'm also doing some reverse splitting here. As you can see, I'm kind of nudging them back to being in a group position so I can do that splash damage. It's very important as melee to be able to do that, especially since Zeros again has such low life that he just gets really, really hurt with that harass. Dakitsugu here, I know he's going to go slave swing. He always does. So I've got a bit of an easier lane this time, so I can feed and get a little bit higher. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so you can see I'm farming that box, kind of just taking my time, waiting for those Marines to come back. So I can do my Z ability. Here we go. So I'm going to do that and kind of get them going. Right now I'm trying to farm for 350 gas, so I don't have to go back to heal before I can get a mana card. So, okay, so I can do another one. I'm going to shift Q and then charge just in case he's waiting to charge at me with his Z and kill me, but it looks like he went to farm some boxes. Taking a look at the other lanes, looks like they're doing okay. Executioner's got kind of a hard lane with Gaia. That's kind of a tough thing with Lure. And you see I charge canceled back. Executioner is pretty mad right now. He actually ends up, okay, so it looks like I charge and try to get him, but no, I won't be able to kill him. He got away with very little HP. So a lot of with Zeros, you're watching the lane a lot. That's very key, especially with Dark True Strike, which is his big sort of line of death that everyone likes. But a lot of that is watching the map. See, I'm also trying to reverse split there a little bit so I can get some splash damage going. Nice thing about mana card, if you can get to the point where you're not harassed like hell, is you can really level quite a bit. So right now I'm kind of really pushing the lane, taking all of his stuff. And I don't think he has a mana card at this point. So, but I'm really just taking everything. Right now I'm going to take all of his tanks using, well, I think I'm just going to take the one closest to the turrets. He doesn't realize I'm there. Sort of a better player would have kept that in check, not let me farm those tanks. The reason I get that one is I can get the one closest to the mid tower later. So that one has the highest risk. I get rid of that first. Whereas mine are pretty low risk. Now I'm watching the map in case he wants to jump me while I'm farming my tanks, but I don't think he plans on doing that. Looks like he went to the tower over there in the middle. I'm just going to take my chances because I know he doesn't really pot heavy. So I'm just going to see what he wants to do. It looks like he's just farming, so I'm okay. And the bigger Marines came out. So just do my best here and farm. I really don't think he has a pot. Oh, looks like Stims tries to snipe me and I charge cancel. Pretty slick actually. I charge the crate and then I attack the tank. And I'm faster than Duran obviously, so that's good. A lot of charge canceling is being very aware of your surroundings and having a quick backup plan. So in that case, I wasn't anticipating stims, but I was anticipating. Oh, looks like Executioner just raged. Yeah, he rage quit this game, which actually ends up being a good thing. And then I just killed Dakitsuku with the pot there. Ends up being a good thing, so we can feed more. But back to my point about charge canceling, a lot of it is, especially in melee versus melee. Knowing where your options are for charging. Okay, if I'm hanging out by the big trailers on the side, like I was before, I know that if I see his mana bar fill up and he's coming at me, then I know what to charge and where to go. I didn't anticipate Stims attacking me, which probably was my fault, but at the end of the day, knowing that I could charge that crate and knowing where my escape route was is very critical to surviving as melee. Now, granted, in sort of a real matchup, no offense to Dakitsuku, I would never survive in this lane because just there's no way to beat Slave Swing Duran with zeros. But either way, it's still any opponent is an opponent if you leave them alone. So as you can see, I've kind of leveled pretty fast, regardless of feeding on their lanes or not. I'm already the top level here. I've got Dark True Strike. I went 3 mana with this build because again I knew that my lane didn't need to be pot heavy, so I just went 3 mana. Normally I usually go 4 or 5 if I'm going to be very aggressive, try to get DTS very early, but in this case I got it at level 9, so it can do a lot of damage. And it does about 1900 damage, which means that if you attack the tanks, if you throw it down the tanks, you just need 1 hit to kill them after that. So in general, my goal with this build, as you can see, it's about 10 minutes and 40 seconds with the game. I try to get level 10. In this case I'm level 9. I try to get level 10 before the tank respawns at the least, because that way I can one-shot them. But either way, it's still pretty good. In this case, I'm trying to see what's going on here, trying to get Makana's up, and I miss. Stims comes after me. I'm going to try to get out of here and charge that thing there, and then it looks like, oh, I get away. But I think he killed... No, I kill him. That's good. So, a lot of that you saw with Zeros. Zeros is a very tricky hero. He can't be up in your face early game because he's just too weak. He relies on sort of mind games and tricks and stuff. So in that case, I was really just trying to bait him until my mana got back up to 400 so that I could shoot him. So DTS, or Dark True Strike, the giant wave of death, is also a good farming tool for a full respawn. So as you can see, I'm going to throw it down the tanks and boom, it takes both of them out. So I watched the map. It looks like Dakitsuku went back to the base. A lot of it in lanes when I play in-house games is remembering when the tank respawns are and sort of coordinating your farming efforts with that, because the first 3 tank respawns are very important for leveling, very significant. So I'm really kind of just taking everything right now. And I also saw him at the middle tower there, so I'm going to go ahead and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now at this point I'm the highest level, which is good. Zero still doesn't really get very dangerous until probably another 3 or 4 or 5 more levels. He really starts to shine late game, but right now it's just sort of still trying to be cautious, and as you can see I kind of charge cancel everywhere I go. especially to the mid towers or any tower really, trying to charge cancel. And it looks like Stims is kind of blocking that one over there. I want to run away here so that I don't get killed. Now you can tell that I actually did buy in the shop a life regeneration pack, so that when I take harass and I'm running around the map, especially now that it's 2 versus 3, that I'm not having to go back to heal all the time. It's a handy little thing, especially with this build. I try to get 4 to 5 mana regeneration. Usually, I don't know about the 5th one. Sometimes I get a booster before that, but I saw Stims up there. I'm going to see what's going on. And at that point, so that was a pretty tricky thing what I did. When I got the level, I put both the points into health so that I would survive. Kind of a funny little last minute thing, but I've done that before. I'm sure others have too. It's not that big a deal. But what I was saying with this build, because it's more of a sniping build, I try to max out my regen. See, that time I got 5 regens, and I also have the booster because of all the extra money I have from the free lane. So Stims is in the middle there, kind of farming. Gaia is very strong hero, very difficult for melee. I aimed at Makanas, but it looks like he did his final blow right after, or right before the DTS got him. But I'm still the highest level. It's good. Coming up to mid game here. Okay. Now another thing, I remember Sungjae or KRK asked me about this in one of the games I played. Sort of the battle armor and why I didn't get that. You see how I charge canceled that crate up to there. Always want to get wherever you need to go, get there fast. But about the battle armor, I don't really bother with that very early. I don't see the need for it, because really, if you think about it, early game, especially with this build, I'm not going very pot heavy. I'm just going for sniping and for mind games. So a lot of it is just support, mind games and mana regeneration, so I can snipe. So the key is, that either I hit or I get hit. There is no in between. So I don't really need the armor until later when I have a lot of shields and I can take a lot of damage, and then the 20% reduction will mean something. At this point, if someone is gonna, use a pot, and like Gaia, for example, like blocking me, and I can't escape, then having 20% reduction is really meaningless. So now I'm starting to buy shields. Again, I'm sort of warming up into mid game. I don't really care about shields early because, again, my philosophy with this build is that I either kill or I get killed. There is no in between. Kind of checking out the towers, trying to see who is entering the lane and when. A lot of Zeros involves camping, basically, like I just did now, with Stims. Kind of really waiting to see when they come back in the lane, being very aware of, and it looks like I think he's going to kill me here. Yeah. So as you can see, like I said, he may not be the strongest opponent, but he's still dangerous if left unattended, especially with Slave Swing. I mean, if that gets nailed, you're not really going anywhere. And with the prodigious amount of damage that Duran does now with that critical, I mean, it's just, it's anybody can really do a lot of damage. So, but with the camping stuff, a lot of it is just being aware of when are they exiting the lane, when are they entering it, where are they most likely to go. That's my thoughts. I saw Stims there. He's probably going to the mid tower on the right. Yep, and so he's farming. I'm looking at the map. The great part about the map is that you can see kind of a lot of different things if you're paying attention. abilities you can see in the dark if people are using them. So you see, I don't really use my DTS early. A lot of people try to bait you into using it so then they can come at you, but I'm a very patient person when it comes to that, because like I said, a lot of zeros involves mind games. And generally so you see how that time I got him. There's two ways you can get very easy shots with DTS. DTS doesn't involve aiming so much as it involves mind games. And there's only two situations where there'll be easy shots. The first one is where they're running from you, okay? And the other one is where they're running at you, where they want to kill you. Anywhere in between, people are trying to avoid you, run around, do mind games, all that stuff. Your goal is to induce sort of the primary instincts of greed and of fear. So if you're in a skirmish and people are running around, you use your other abilities to get them to low health, eventually at one point they're going to move in a predictable direction. They're going to be like, oh crap, I better run. So they start running in a predictable direction. That's when you hit. Your goal isn't to be the best aimer in the world so much as it is to game them into a predictable pattern. And then the second one, which is greed, you try to make them think like they're going to kill, like I did with Stims in the early game when he almost did kill me. But I got enough for my Dark True Strike and I killed him instead. So a lot of it is really just getting people to act in those two sort of behavior patterns. So right now, I kind of saw Daketsuku in the corner of the line. Looks like I missed there, but I'm going to use my pot and then also warp out so I don't get killed. Now there is no sound on this video, unfortunately. I think when I recorded it with Fraps, I almost said straps. When I recorded it with Fraps, they didn't record sound or something. Again, just take note of the charge canceling. We use that as a sort of common vehicle to move around the map. Knowing where you can charge cancel and what is really important. So now that was a good example. You saw there was a Marine there in the way. And if I charge cancel and there's creep in the way, then he's just going to attack whatever's closest. Now I'm looking for Stims, and I'm trying to see if he's going to camp the tower so I can kill him. I really like to camp this spot a lot, but he probably saw me. But I like to camp that spot when I know people are dead and they're coming back to the lane so that I can get an easy shot on them. About charge canceling, if there's creep in the way, you have to learn to target crates and neutral buildings, or just be able to target in general, so that you see. So I'm really kind of going across there. The other reason at that last time I just charged the crate is because I wanted to be out of vision. If the creep saw me, then I wanted to be out of vision. So now I'm kind of surrounded here. I'm trying to get rid of that creep so they can lose vision of me, but I'm just not killing them. Makanas is there, and I'm charging back, and so he warps out. I knew that Makanas was going to come. This was another kind of a tactic in group battles. So I knew that Makanas was going to come, and I knew that Stims was in a position mentally to kind of avoid me. So he was ready to move around. But I know Makanas, again, sort of going back to that idea of triggering those two instincts, Makanas was on, the second one. He was, okay, I'm going to kill him. And so his behavior pattern was in a straight line. So I knew that he wasn't going to be thinking about avoiding me. So when two people jump you like that and one is closer than the other, you know that one of them's going to come at you. Boy, Duran does a lot of damage. But um, when that kind of situation happens, I always aim for the person coming at me. They never expect that. And then usually I can pick them off first, and the second person, whatever happens with that. But if you try to go for the person who's on you, you might miss. So okay, so now I'm kind of coming up into that late game where Zeros is really starting to shine. Both of us, me and Excalibur, are higher level than everyone else. The buildings, though, we haven't really started pushing. We've just been farming and kind of getting our shop stuff taken care of, so we can really. That's probably one thing. I mean, we end up actually losing this game. There gets some really bad lag at the end. I don't know what the heck happened, but basically, okay. So you see, I didn't use DTS that time. I was just waiting to see what would happen, and of course I use it and I miss. And then I die, of course, to Duran. Stims is a very good player. He's from Europe, the Europe server. Very good ranged player. I think he won the tournament in EU. So Makanis did great charge cancel there to sort of intercept Excalibur at the tower with the final blow and stuff. It's a really neat move. You travel a lot of space. But he died as well. So at this point, I am just, doing my best to stack up and be this major tank for late game. That's kind of my strategy, even if it was 3 versus 3. I just, in this case, I would just take everything, get my armor maxed, my health maxed. You just kind of sort of eat everything. So you see, that's another good example of how to use DTS. I led him to sort of the platform where I knew he was going to be following me there. A better player, or I should say a more experienced player, would have sort of saw that coming and charged at me and then moved away really quick, like charge fake. You can see that a lot. Pac-Man actually does that very well. He's probably the only player other than myself that I know that really plays mind games with melee, or at least tries to. But in that case, it didn't happen, so I killed him. I know, you see, I kind of was watching the map there. I saw him farming. A lot of it, again, is camping with Zeros. I was camping that way. I knew he was most likely to go up there based off of where he was. Boy, those earthquake things are really annoying. You see how I charge canceled that crate, then the trailer or whatever that is, and then I went away. Try to be basically as far away from everything and safe as possible. And farming the sort of side lanes with X. Guy is a very strong hero. I mean, very well. Very good space control. Very difficult to deal with if you're melee. So that time, not so much. I should be warping out here. Okay, good. And he warps out too. That was really funny. But again, the camping and watching, what is most likely? Okay, so I saw Dakitsuku in the left lane. He was farming. Most likely he's going to go to middle. Which path he's going to use? The one I'm on. So I'm just going to wait there. And sure enough, he did come. So now you can use DTS like I just did off that cliff there to snipe both the turrets. You see, so I'm not really sure what they're wanting to do. I mess up that charge cancel. I was trying to get to the other side, but I went ahead and still got it. And there goes one of the trailers. Those are very useful, and it's very, very bad to lose them because it's hard to charge cancel without them unless you use the crates and stuff. So when you farm the tanks late game, you have a bunch of regen. I can use C on the lower tank, C and X, and then that takes care of the first one, and the top one, or bottom one, whichever, just finish off with Z. Bonus 5, nothing. Yeah, I do everything possible to get as many minerals as I can. Aside killing, I do buy the shop mineral, I do gamble. You know, gambling is worth it. You know, there are many bonuses that are above the cost it takes to get the actual gambling, which is 800, I believe. But there are. Macanus is so funny. He's good though. He's a good player. These are all very good players. You know, Dakitsuku's not bad. He just needs to keep learning a little bit. Maybe master upswing as well. Especially in a melee situation, he could have really neutralized me if he had done upswing. There would just been no contest. You see, now I'm camping. I don't really want to farm because I don't want to give away my location. So a lot of I know Macanus is coming up here, so I'm going to try to kill him now. He gets away with final blow. I'm going to try to charge this building. And I know he's somewhere, and I follow him. But unfortunately, the gate control is still active, and he'll heal way too fast. Yeah, at this point, we're really kind of starting to get behind in buildings. We've been focusing on farming way too much. You see Ignis here, you know, there's a lot of sort of underdog heroes that you don't really expect to be pretty awesome, but Ignis is definitely one of those heroes. He has kind of a weaker early game, just like Zeros, but he's very effective. Does a ton of damage, pushes very well, long range nukes. His Z skill is how Blade Hunter's Z skill used to be, which is it would scout in the dark, which was an amazing skill, probably imbalanced, that's why it got changed. But it has even longer range actually, so pretty cool skill. So Dakitsuku comes at me, I use a pot, you know, thinking I could kill him, but at this point I've got a skill card and a movement card. I try to get speed card a lot. Not too many people, you know, do that in Inhouse, in the North America server, but you do see that a lot in the Korean sort of replays and tournaments. Speed card is really good, especially early game actually. Speed card, especially for melee, charge canceling, you know, it gets faster. You can follow people faster. It's just, it's one of those sort of overlooked necessities for PvP. I see Macanus is coming. He's probably going to be, I thought he would blink out, so I'm not going to even bother. Just make him run away. I can see at this point I'm kind of really hoarding gas. I'm up to 36 armor already. You know, 5k HP, full shields. I'm just stacking my regen, pretty much everything. You know, my spawn rate, my regeneration, health, every possible thing I can have so that I have to spend minimal time, you know, taking damage and healing and all that business. I want to just be able to run away, wait for, you know, 5 seconds or whatever it is, and get my full HP back. So I'm trying to see what he's doing here. I'm not really going to use my DTS. I'm going to call his bluff and come right at him, you know, and then he gets away really well. I'm trying to get here, and I mess up my charge cancel. Dakitsuku comes and just throws that slave swing down. It's such a strong skill if you get it. And I deselect it as well. because I was clicking so fast. And we have a little bit of a brawl here. Oh, and it looks like he was just baiting Excalibur. Duran, I mean, even if in the hands of a, let's say, less experienced player, that slow is just such a great asset for people that can't blink. I mean, it's just, man, when you're trapped in that, you're taking a lot of damage. Your movement speed is fixed. It's pretty crazy. Again, I'm just farming like crazy. I'm up to 38 armor now. You can see I use charge manually because it's just, again, it's another skill, and you see kind of the same principle we talked about earlier. Although it didn't succeed, same idea coming to the forefront. Dakitsuka was baiting me, and I kind of knew that from his movement. I had the feeling he was baiting me. When the stims came up, he had a linear pattern, so I knew I could aim it at stims, and I did hit him, but unfortunately I couldn't survive the battle. Gaia is very, very annoying. I have another in-house replay, but after the work it took to put this one together, I don't know when that will happen. So at this point, we're kind of even for buildings, kind of more of a defensive point. I'm trying to kill them first before I go push the buildings, especially with Gaia. She's very kind of a considerable factor in that. So I can see that they're using Dakitsuka as sort of an assistant here. He's the one that's slowing everyone down. He baits and stuff, and Makanis is pushing with Blade Hunter. Not the best push, but again, if left alone, not the best thing either to deal with, because it does do a lot of damage. I don't know what I was doing there. Maybe Zeros was just angry. Okay, so I'm getting some potions. I usually like to carry 2 in 1. I mean, I don't really need the mana pot, but it's just there to be safe, because I do get mana packs by the end of the game. Sort of, he rushed at it for no reason. I don't think he was expecting stims to teleport out. So, we're kind of behind on buildings, but it's okay. I mean, if I have full cards, then I can take out both sides with a full set of pots, so it's not a big deal. Now, at this point, I'm fighting the Colonel. I'm trying to lure them into false insecurity so I can get the Colonel, and so now they're going to force me to use my DTS, and I die. I was hoping I would only have to deal with Makanas, but the whole team was there. Yeah. So, Excalibur getting some cards there. Quite a bit of HP at this point. No regeneration though. I like to have regeneration if I have all the extra gas. Excalibur likes to buy cards much earlier than mid and late game, and kind of just a different style, but I feel like I'd rather have the sort of permanent investments in the regeneration and respawn and stuff. So, okay, we're going to charge all the way down, try to get to the action, push those buildings. I know that they're going to be in a defensive strategy, so we just need to support Excalibur. And it looks like I did hit Mechanis. Excalibur survives. And I charge. You see how I charged that creep into that box? I charge the creep, then to the box, then I can get past that sort of creep wave. You can't just charge cancel if there's a bunch of creep and just start hitting them, which is pretty silly, but it's just how the game works. Duran's Slave Swing. So frustrating. Alright, so I've got kind of coming along pretty nicely. Now, at this point right now, Zeros is really like one of the most dangerous heroes late game because of his high burst damage, and I missed the second tank. So now our strategy, that we have that general, still there. We just want to defend, try to buy as much time as possible so then we can, come back strong. A lot of CTE is about burst and, sort of sudden burst damage. So really you aren't going to get anywhere with slow attacks over a long period of time, but rather saving up for a lot of cards, a lot of pots, and then just going and taking out everything. It's much more effective. So that's what we're trying to do here. Excalibur getting himself into a bunch of fights, and so I have to go support that. Ignis is actually probably one of the best at taking out tier 2 buildings. It's just amazing how much damage he does. And it looks like Mechanis kills him. Just have a little. I know that some others are coming, so I'm trying to get away. Good thing I still have warp there. That would have been a really bad situation without one. I'm a commander. Every time I reset my score, I end up playing a bunch of in-house games, and I end up with some silly rank like soldier or something. Kind of depressing. Thankfully our general still has full HP. Well, almost full. Good enough to survive. So I've got my 5 potions. You can see my 5 health pots. Sort of starting to stack them, hoping I don't have to use them so that I can then invest in cards. Almost max level here. I'm kind of waiting for that max level for the gas bonus. I also have a 20 kill bonus coming up, so I just need one more kill plus the level, and I'll be set to start, getting full cards and a bunch of pots to take out everything, including the general. So I'm kind of just buying some time for that. Now, remember I said we lost this. There was some really bad delay or lag or something at the end here coming up in probably another few minutes. Is right when I got a bunch of cards and pots and stuff. And it was really unfortunate because, I don't know, we might have still lost, but okay, so I just dumped all 5 of my pots there trying to survive. So I got my 750 gas bonus for 20 kills, and now I'm just going to go ahead and take out everything. I'm up to 48 armor. So now I can see Stims over there kind of chugging away at that general. And he dies, but apparently Stims had sort of a delay here too, which is unfortunate. Well, fortunate for us, I guess, but. So, I get everything. I get the movement card, the magic card, the armor card, and the skill card. And I get 5 health potions and 3 mana pots. I don't really need more than that. And generally, I don't know, I'm not really going to go for all the cards. Usually it's going to be a rare situation where you have that much money. Now it starts to sort of lag, as you can see. It's just like really, really lagging. Again, this is very rare. I don't really see that happening too much. I was just like tick, 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 very slow. Now, if you watch the map, sort of the mini map there, you can see that all of them are over there up at the final building. So I really don't know, what the status is there. I'm just gonna try to do my best to push, while I can. My warp isn't ready. I can't go back to sort of defend. I'm just trying to push as fast as I can, and hoping that maybe somehow Excalibur will resurrect in time to sort of fend them off, and maybe the final building will survive and kill some of them off or something. And then I can go back and defend after that and repair. But at this point, I'm just going to do my best to be offensive and get that general down. Because if the general is still up and your general is down, then they can do all kinds of stuff. They can put a nuke and defend. They can just overall defend, and it's just not pleasant, especially with Gaia being able to block everything. Yeah, so at this point now, my goal here, you see, I'm kind of luring the general and the Thors to try to be in a clump. That's what you want to do, especially if you have all these cards in pots, so you can really take all of them out. He can just do so much damage. Just do a bunch. So that's pretty much it. So I think I end up taking the general, but they end up winning. So there you go. I think they're gonna win now. I'm dead, and they have a full final building. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, I have resurrected. Okay, and I'm trying to defend. It's still lagging, but we have an observer, Stim Probe. I think he's from the EU server as well. It might have been from him. I really don't know. I was kind of disappointed that we lost. I felt I could have did a better job defending and countering and sort of hitting my skills if it wasn't for the lag, but it is what it is. And I die. Oh no, I don't. Looks like I warp out. Kana's had, I think, a ton of cards and potions and stuff. So he saved up to the end, so. Good game though, it was a pretty good game. Still lagging at the end, but there you go. Zeros. Thanks guys. Hope that you learned something from that, and if you have any questions, feel free to PM me. Uriel, character code 590. Thanks. Have a good one.